everybody. This is Dianne, your 40-something from the land of ice, snow, and the house where apparently sled dogs kill ravens.
That sounds not as interesting as my cornfield, shingles blowing off my house, water eroding away on my new construction plot.
Oh, no.
I am your zombified 30-something Brian in Iowa.
And we are here with an episode of Biters, taking a bite out of the season finale of The Walking Dead.
Biting my bleepity bleep tongue.
So do we just want to launch into ratings?
Yeah, let's just skip let's just zip through this stuff and let's get to what 9 people have already commented on our Facebook group about.
I think I'm even going to hold back the numbers from last episode. I'll give you the numbers next week when we premiere Fear.
Yeah, sounds good. Hell with it.
All right, so I gave it 3.978 little future serial killers out of 5.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
It was Negan's.
I'm going to give it 3 Anchormans out of 5.
Oh, excellent. That was a good quote.
Yeah, old Eugene, man. I was proud of him, but as the episode was going, I was, going back to my bold predictions which were, man, I was doing really good at the beginning of the second half on my bold predictions, but I took a couple on the chin here towards the end. However, if you count my 5 that I said we're going to have 5 deaths, we had 5 injuries. So
okay, wait a minute. So Daryl is injured, Carol is injured, Maggie is down for the count, even though it's not necessarily an injury. Okay, tell me the other 2.
Is Glenn hurt?
No, but Eugene is really messed up.
Eugene is hurt, so there's 4. And somebody's dead. 5.
Yeah, there you go.
So you know what? I'm going to limp into that as not being right, but just let the infection set and I'll be right.
There you go. So I was thinking about the bold predictions, and obviously one of us is right. We may both be right because I think we had a couple of shared bold predictions, but
Thomas out there, Thomas Reese, he'll correct us. He was keeping count on mine for a while. So Thomas Reese, I'm counting on you.
Well,
who's right?
We're going to get into ways that people are already trying to Zapruder it, as Scott Gimple said on The Talking Dead. But because I do think that you have some good thoughts about that, and I want to go into those. So The title was The Last Day on Earth, and I remember hearing from cast members that they were puking and crying when they read the script.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I'm not sure, because now, based on what was said on The Talking Dead, I kind of get the impression that cast members don't even know themselves who died.
I think that's a cover.
Do ya?
I think they know who's dead, but I think they're just saying that so they don't get asked. That is the easy out. We don't know until we go back to film.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the producers to keep them all on their seats, or on the edges of their seats, rather. But,
what were they puking about then? What were they crying about? And Andrew Lincoln was up all night. And you were up all night because you were filming in the dark?
Yeah, I don't know what they were puking and crying and not sleeping about, because quite honestly, I read episode 100, so I knew this was coming. Or issue 100, excuse me. I'm not sure. Am I just that cold and hard that I wasn't impacted that way?
No. I don't think a lot of people were impacted the way everybody thought they were going to be. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Where do you want to start?
Well, let me just hit a couple of our standard things. So,
well, we know who wrote and directed all
sure,
this one.
Absolutely. What do you think the title meant? Because I was kind of thinking about different things. I mean, obviously, it's the back and forth with the guy who is the apparent leader for the Saviors that said, this is your last day on Earth, or be kind to people because you never know when it's somebody's last day on Earth. But I also thought about what that really means. I mean, I think about loss. When we're talking last day on Earth, I think about Armageddon. And obviously it refers to one person's death, a specific person's death.
Yeah, I think it was definitely foreshadowing somebody's dying. So if you don't listen to our podcast and you were just somebody who just happened to be going through the routine, last day on Earth, oh, someone's going to die.
God. I don't know how you could have missed all of the foreshadowing for this death.
Yeah. You know, if it's just one of those, if it's just one of those things that I think they were very straight up. I don't think there were too many hidden meetings with this, and it was just going to that interaction because you had Rick who was just being like, "Yep, whatever," you know, for lack of a better term, bite me.
Yeah,
bite me. You ain't so tough. And then they ran into another roadblock, and you could see him visually realizing, uh-oh.
One of the things I thought about the roadblocks is each one got a little more horrific.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I think that also really increased their sense of terror and our sense that they were truly getting trapped, truly getting boxed in, as you mentioned.
Yeah, so we kind of seen that coming. We chatted this time during the show, which we typically don't, but it was special tonight, so we chatted during the show, and as it was going on, I'm like, they're getting boxed in.
And they're
getting boxed in.
I thought, especially when they fired off warning shots in the second confrontation, I think it was, that those were not actually warning shots. They were communicating with another group.
Yep, they were saying, "Hey, they're coming. Hey, they're coming. Get this up. Get this ready." So that was coming, and Lordy, it's just one of them things. But back to our format here. There's just so many things going through my head right now, and I'm just checking on the interaction with people, and this is going to be fun. Well, let's make this fun. A lot of fun. As pissed off as we are, let's make fun.
The other thing I thought about the meaning, just really quickly, is that I kind of felt like they went through Armageddon in season 1. You know, that was already the last day on Earth. So I just think it's interesting to look back on season 1. Just real quick, I did do a featured cast member, and I felt like it had to be time with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which apparently the Talking Dead thought that as well.
Yeah, so, he was our surprise cast member tonight.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not quite sure that he has physically proved to me that he's Negan. But the intellect is definitely there, and the twisted intellect is definitely there.
Yeah, he was definitely a smooth talker.
Yeah.
In this episode, because when, I don't really get too much into actors, actresses. Well, I get into actresses, but you know, when he was, I didn't know how tall he was. I didn't know how much he weighed. You know, and looking at comic book Negan, who's got some girth to him.
That's exactly what I picked up on.
You know, when he stepped out of the trailer, I was kind of like, what?
This dude's really skinny.
This guy's supposed to be big, scary Negan.
Yeah.
But then as he started to talk and elaborate, he did it all with just this confidence and swagger that only a badass mofo could do.
Yeah, Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it.
I was just going to say that he's definitely got the character and the mentality down. So I can forgive them not bulking him up a little bit.
Yeah, in which it's not that hard. I mean, if you get cast, look at what people like Hugh Jackman have done to their bodies in a very short amount of time. That there's ways to put on mass without actually being strong. And it's kind of surprising that they didn't say, okay, this is who you're going to be. Let's do this. Here's your trainer and dietitian for the next 5 months. You're going to put on about 30 pounds. So
I was thinking, here's your trainer and here's your bottle of protein powder.
Yeah.
So he was born on April 22nd, 1956 in Seattle. And I was thinking to myself as I was writing that down, boy, this is a hella birthday present, man. Getting introduced to the world as Negan, that's a pretty good birthday present. He is known for Grey's Anatomy, which I will admit now I have never watched. He's known for Supernatural, which I will also admit I've only tried to watch a little bit and I haven't got into it. Loved Weeds. Apparently he had a spot on Weeds, so I'm going to have to go back and look at Weeds again. And then he's well known for the movie The Watchmen.
Yeah, The Watchmen is where I knew him from.
He says that he likes to spend his spare time with friends, painting, writing, and reading. And here's something really funny. This is a quote that I found. He says, I'm just looking always for characters that change because I want to get better as an actor and as a person.
You know, I just want an actor to come on and be like, what do you like to do for fun? I want a guy to come on and be like, I like to snort lines of coke off a dead hooker's ass cracks. I like heavy metal music. I might worship Satan, and I like to just recklessly break things.
That is hilarious.
It'd be like, yes, this guy's the only one telling the truth. You know, it's just like, yes, this guy's hilarious. Why not? Everyone's all like, oh, I like fine dining and muffins and croissants. And
he did let a little bit of his character show on Talking Dead tonight. He said that when he picked up Lucille, it felt right.
yeah. So that's cool. I mean, that's neat. So while my first impression when he stepped out of that RV, I was like, what? I quickly got on board with him playing the character. Once he started to speak and walk and pace with the bat, you could tell he had some viable street cred.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a good call. I think that's definitely one of the best things to come out of this episode is the casting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we get into epic fail and epic fail, I just want to say that I prematurely said on Facebook that it looked like we were going to have some special guests tonight. Let the cat out of the bag. Jeff and Kirk were talking about coming back for the finale, which we were totally open to. Unfortunately, our recording time didn't work with their times, so they're going to try to get on board with us in the future here very shortly.
So it was a dead cat that we let out of the bag.
There you go.
Schrodinger's cat was dead.
It was a prematurely born cat that we let out of the bag.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to hit me with your epic?
Yeah, so my epic that I really caught on and I really liked was the Saviors really stuck to their plan. They knew where they were trying to get to. They knew all the routes to get there. And they knew how they were going to. So they systematically stuck to the plan. And it worked flawlessly.
That's a great epic.
The thing that they knew who, what, where, why, when, and how. He even said it. We know where you're going. There's multiple ways. He even talked him into it. There are multiple ways to get where you're going.
So I loved the double meaning of that sentence that was spoken by that character, because he was absolutely right. You know, there are multiple ways to get where you're going, and I thought, and Rick has no idea what that really means. Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, which he then said it to him when they were on their knees, I told you were going to get to where you were going.
Yep.
Right here. And you could have done this easily a long time ago, but you wanted to do it here. And you just kept doing this over and over and over. So, love it.
Yeah, and they totally herded our group into that situation.
Yeah, it was great. I absolutely just loved the Saviors sticking to the plan. It shows. So here's a direct reference. Remember last week when I was like, it just seems like there's no order in Alexandria.
Right.
Everybody gets to do whatever the hell they want to do.
And they did it again.
And they did it again. Oh, I'm going. And
yep.
I pinged you and I said, there's a lot of named characters in that RV.
Yep.
But in the Saviors, there is a clear rank and file. You do not do anything Negan does not tell you to do. Here's how this operates. Here's how this is going to function. And this is what's going to happen.
Let me tell you, that rank and file looks really scary.
Yeah, it does.
When they were all lined up at the end there, I just looked through all of them and I thought, man, these people look scary. They look like they're committed.
Yeah, it was. So what's your epic?
My epic was the introduction of the kingdom.
The kingdom, huh? The kingdom, you say.
So I was really excited to see those soldiers from the kingdom, because you called it last week. You said, I bet that guy that Rick shot, the guy that was looking for his horse, was somebody from the kingdom. And then these two soldiers from the kingdom come up on Carol and Morgan, and they're just there in all of their glory. And they did such a nice job of creating that sort of medieval look with current modern armor.
Yeah, it's like they had some of the old body armor that Glenn
Yeah.
had taken from the prison, the riot armor, and they had just slapped some paint on it, and they made it look neat and futuristic.
Hey, I gotta apologize to everybody. I'm stuck alone again, and my Great Pyrenees is losing her.
Yeah, she is angry.
So I just really apologize. There's nothing I can do other than turn off and leave, and that ain't gonna happen. So,
So if anyone is interested in learning more about the kingdom, actually before that stuff gets revealed, we're not going to be that source of information because neither of us have read that far in the comics. We've all kind of stopped at that point or well before. So that's kind of where that stops with us. So if you're looking at doing stuff like that, by all means, that's what Wikipedia is for. Have a good one. However, just to let you know, we have no subject matter experts on our crew that will be able to talk to that beyond that.
And I've got to tell you two things in response to that. One is that I know that the kingdom is important in the upcoming storyline in the comic books, but I can't tell you a whole lot more than that. And if people really do want to look, the Walking Dead wiki is actually pretty cool. I mean, I find some good information and some good contributions on there. So, neither one of us mentioned Negan and Lucille as our epics, so I have to say, okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo was pretty epic, even if Negan didn't do it right.
Yeah, they couldn't do it the way they really wanted to or needed to, just because cliffhangers.
Right, and I think the fact that he kind of skipped over words and pointed at the person when he wanted to point at the person made his choice that more unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. So what's your fail then?
Oh, so I am so sick of Carol trying to die. I just really was kind of like, all right, let her die already.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat. When she, Morgan's like, nope, not leaving. And then she wound up ditching Morgan.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool.
And I thought, you can't babysit a grown woman 24/7 in the zombie apocalypse. You just can't.
Yeah, and at some point you just have to say, if they have a death wish, they have a death wish. It's kind of the suicide by cop mentality.
Yeah.
I don't have enough. I can't kill myself, but I can go create trouble to where someone's going to kill me.
So the other thing that kind of struck me about it is that there was so much energy spent on saving Maggie, literally and metaphorically, and it was really, really important. And who ends up getting saved? Carol ends up getting saved. Carol and Morgan.
We'll get to that point in a little bit.
So I have a question for you, and you may want to answer it now. You may want to hold until we're at that point a little bit more. But when Morgan first came up on Carol and saw her kind of leaning in that doorway or crouched in that doorway, did he see a convert or did he see a friend?
I think he's seen his own guilt.
Oh, okay.
I think he feels 100% responsible for the position Carol is in right now. And that is the only reason he's out there right now.
Now, see, I think that he sees himself as Eastman and he sees her as him.
If she picks up a bow staff, we're done.
If she picks up a bow staff, somebody else needs to apply for Brian's job.
Yeah. If she picks up a bow staff, I'll be damn impressed because she's got a couple of rounds in her right now in each one of her limbs and a side gash. And you know what I mean? Though, like, we're not going to do this, are we? I think he just seen like, I'm on the hook for this. I'm on the hook for this. This is me. This is my fault.
So my other question is, and you may want to answer this later too, but has Morgan found his true home in the kingdom?
He might have. They're like, hey, let's help. And he's like, oh, cool. Let's do this.
Yeah. I mean, they really looked like there was an instant connection there.
Yeah, maybe. Time will tell. I don't think we've got until October. So we've got 7 months to wait this thing out. 6 months to wait this thing out. So
I have 6 months to debark my dog.
Yeah.
Except we hired her for her bark. So. So what was your fail?
My fail was the cast, not the cast, Alexandria making the same dumb mistakes again.
Piling out into the RV. And
they had 6 named characters in the RV, 5 named characters, whatever, 6. And they all left, and they see them blocking the road, and you try another road, fine. And then once you hit that second road, you should have been like, we need to go home.
I actually thought when Rick said go back that he was conceding and going back to Alexandria.
And, you know, here's the thing. Maggie's life is not worth everybody else's. And you would have to assume that someone was like, no, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. If you want to get her there, you are walking her there yourself. We're done. Because we're all going to die. And for all we know, Alexandria could be burnt to the ground right now.
So, and that's the other thing. That's the other component of your fail. So not only did essentially every named character we could think of except Enid end up in the RV, but there was still no accounting for Daryl, Glenn, Michonne, or Rosita. Our group didn't know where they were.
Mm-hmm.
And so they essentially left who? Tobin, Gabriel, and Spencer?
Yeah. And some other no-namers that were there. It's just like, you're kidding me, right?
Yeah. And while I did think the fact that Gabe has really stepped up and he's all of a sudden become a really cool cat, you know, I thought that was neat. But I also thought there's no way with what they've got that they can protect Alexandria.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. And, yeah. It was very frustrating again. Because out of all the 5 bad things that happened this season, it's all because nobody thought things through. That rank and file was not there. Rick said, nope, me, this person, and this person are going. And then Aaron talked his way on.
Right.
And then Eugene talked his way on. And then Lenny McSquiggles talked his way on. You know, it just kept, yeah, so it was tough.
And the only reason Enid didn't talk her way on is that Carl actually pulled a good fast one and locked her in the closet.
Which was cool, because then she's like, what am I supposed to do if you don't come back? And he's like, just survive somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was kind of a dick move, because what if nobody walks in there? Now she's going to starve to death inside of the damn closet.
And turn into a walker. I guess that's kind of surviving
cool?
Somehow.
So, like, he gets back there and she, like, starved to death. And, like, he opens it and she's Enid zombie.
That would be messed up.
But I think they're going to be going back in about that next morning. They will be limping back to Alexandria. Yeah,
I do think that the death has happened and now Negan is going to let them go. Because that's his pattern. He kills one person as an example and lets the group go. And now he thinks our group is cowed and is going to serve him.
Maybe they will. Maybe they won't.
Maybe they will. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they do that. In fact, so my question for you now, what was the hard left? Was the hard left not showing us who got killed?
I think we'll discuss that later.
Oh, okay, good. You've got something for that. Excellent. So should we go to our epic fails then?
Yes.
Okay.
Rifle off your epic.
So my epic fail was the cliffhanger. You know, we've already talked about it quite a bit, but I felt like I had a big, bad case of Walking Dead blue balls.
Yeah, so my epic fail is the same, and I'm sure everybody else's. So about 2 weeks ago, a spoiler came out. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm watching this spoiler. And it was from like a Japanese source or something. And it came out that you don't actually find out who dies. You just see it from their point of view. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So then I asked Dianne, I'm like, hey, do you want to know what I just read? And you're like, hell yeah. And I told you, and you're like, that's not going to happen. No way. And then as you said, as I thought about it,
kept passing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow. So, you know, I'm just as pissed off as everybody else. But friends, family, all sorts of stuff. Scott Gimple said one thing on The Talking Dead, and everyone's cries were heard. The fact that they addressed this in the final minutes of The Talking Dead, he said, you know, we understand why you're frustrated, but there's 2 things.